Welcome to the Sports Bash pre-show presented by the Wantagh Warrior Memorial 5K and Fun Run presented by the Gary Sinise Foundation. The event will take place Sunday, September 22nd at Wantagh High School here on Long Island. For more information, go to the event's Instagram page at Wantagh Warrior _9/11 5K. Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by Vinny Tickets. Coming up on the show, we'll be joined by Long Island Ducks manager Lou Ford. We'll also play Stump the WHIZ, and we'll check out the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and we'll have this day in sports history. And I say good morning to Vinny Tickets.
Top of the morning to you, Peter.
Top of the morning to you. Very quick Sports Bash flash brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. Very quickly, the Yankees lost to the Royals last night 5-0. The Mets lost to the Blue Jays 6-2 from the Atlantic League, and we'll talk with Long Island Ducks manager Lou Ford in just a few minutes. The Ducks lost to High Point last night in 11 innings, 9-7. The Liberty, the only local winner last night, they beat Dallas 105-91. And I wanted to make sure that we spent some time on the pre-show talking about the day that is today, and that is September 11th, is 23 years ago. On this day, our lives changed, our nation changed. We were under attack, and right around now is, I think, the first moment of silence for the first tower that fell. And I think when you think back to that day 23 years ago, it's just one of those things where you remember where you were, and you remember how it had a profound impact on your life.
Absolutely. And it is a solemn day. I could always pull a positive out of something. I'm not really sure what positive I could get out of that. But I would like to extend from Peter, myself, and our entire crew here, condolences to all the family that have lost loved ones. And it was just an unspeakable event, unspeakable tragedy. Our hearts, our love, and our thoughts and prayers go out to all of you today.
100%. And just, for me personally, and I was driving up to Lake Placid that morning. I had just started a brand new job at ESPN Radio in New York. I was a week into the job, and one of the first assignments I had was to go up and cover Islanders training camp, because our station had just signed the Islanders to a radio deal. And we'd like you to go up and cover the first couple of days of training camp. So the day before, I was at my ESPN orientation in Manhattan, and then went to go cover the Yankees game at night, and the game got rained out. The next morning, this beautiful sunshiny day, I get in the car, I'm driving to Lake Placid. I'm just past Albany. I'm listening to a radio station, a small radio station, and you hear about the plane hitting the tower, and you're thinking maybe it's just a pilot that passed out or something like that. And then another plane hits the other tower, and you say, "Wow, we're under attack." At that point, there was no turning around for me. I couldn't go back. New York City was closed. It couldn't. There were all hands on deck for ESPN and WABC people trying to cover what was going on. There was no way of getting back into New York, so I continued to Lake Placid, and there I am that day, sitting in what is now called the Herb Brooks Arena, the site of arguably one of the great moments in our country's history, when the United States hockey team beat the Soviet Union. And I'm sitting in this arena watching the Islanders practice on what was arguably the worst day in American history. And I've always carried that with me, that it was the first indication in some way, shape, or form of how much sports was going to help play a role in the healing process, because at least for a couple of hours that day, not that it completely took my mind off it, but I was watching the Islanders practice. And then the Mets came back, and then the Yankees came back, and we started to try to get back to normalcy. And I bring it up because 23 years later, sports did play a role in the healing process.
It sure did. And we remember, being at not myself, but I do remember watching it, being at the stadium, and how the country really rallied around New York, whether it be the Mets or the Yankees. I
was at the Mike Piazza home run game.
Yeah.
That was the first major professional sports game back in New York. And, you can still this day feel Shea Stadium shaking when Mike Piazza hit that home run.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was important. Obviously, we're all about sports here on the show for the most part. but I thought it was important to spend just a couple of minutes paying tribute to those that we lost 23 years ago today. And it's a horrible day. It really is. I mean, you try to have an optimistic point of view with everything that we do in life, but you just have to take some time to remember things that happened that had an impact, even if it's negative. We're going to come back and we're going to talk some sports in just a couple of seconds.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash also brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. By the offices of Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, located at 1 John Street in Babylon. Chiropractic Care Plus is the only choice when searching for Long Island chiropractors. Give Dr. Ippolito a call at 631-669-6221. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400 and tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. I say good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, and I'm joined by Vinny Tickets. Good morning, Vinny.
Good morning, Peter.
Later on in the show, we're going to play Stump the WHIZ. We're always excited about that segment coming on. Hopefully, WHIZ is ready for what I think is an interesting question, and we'll get to that later on in the show. We'll also check out the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and we'll have this day in sports history. But we do want to welcome in our guest on the show today, and a lot of you watch the show, follow me on the other platforms, know that I do fill in from time to time as a public address announcer for the Long Island Ducks. I get a handful of games during the year, so I'm going to channel my inner LI Ducks PA skills and welcome to the show the manager of your Long Island Ducks, Lou Ford. Lou, welcome to Sports Bash.
Thanks, Peter. That was great. Thank you.
So thanks a lot for joining the show. The Ducks are in the middle of a push for the playoffs. Last night coming up just a little bit short, but Lou, considering that the way that the season unfolded to be in this position here, challenging for a playoff spot in the final week, what's the feeling around the team?
A lot of energy right now. We've been playing really good baseball, especially here the last month. We've made a lot of ground up, just swept the first place team in the other division last weekend. So good baseball, a lot of energy right now.
I know there's a couple of different scenarios that the Ducks can get into the playoffs. You know, you're 3 games back of Lancaster for the first place spot in the second half of the North Division. There's also a wild card scenario. How tough is this? Because it's not all in your hands. Like, you don't control your own destiny. How tough is it for you, the staff, the players, to not try and focus on the scoreboard, although the scoreboard is important, but just to keep your eyes on the task at hand that you guys can control?
No, I get it, but I think we've done a great job of not doing that. We're just playing game to game, and maybe we check afterwards, I guess you'd say, but we've been playing hard, playing game to game, and getting a lot of wins.
This is your first year as manager. I know this is like something you were, excited about at the beginning of the season, replacing, Wally Backman, who had led the Ducks to a championship a couple of years ago. And for you were with the Ducks, for a long time as a player. You're their all-time hits leader, and now you take over as manager. I know Long Island has become home for you. What did it mean for you this year to have this opportunity to manage the team that you played for so long?
No, it's great. I'm very thankful and blessed to get the job here. And, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the Ducks. They've treated me very well. And I'm just very happy to get this position and had a great time so far this year doing it.
Did you always have it in the back of your mind as a player when you were in the major leagues and then when you came to the Ducks in the Atlantic League, was eventually getting into managing something that was always on your mind?
Not exactly, but I was always trying to learn, and just trying to be a constant learner, especially early on in my career. And I had some great coaches and great managers, and it's something that it's kind of progressed over time, and something that definitely I've wanted to do the last couple years, and happy to get the job here in Long Island. No better place to be.
We agree with no better place than Long Island. So Lou, when you talk about your career, we know you played, obviously had a great career with the Ducks. Is there a moment in your career that stands out, one moment, one game, one event that stands out in your life that you say, this is one of my shining moments of my 20 or 30-year baseball career? What would that moment be?
That's a tough one. I think there was a game against the Yankees, 2004 playoffs. There was an elimination game, and had a 2-out RBI, and the place, there was just no better feeling. The Metrodome there was just erupting, and your ears were ringing, and it was a great feeling. And I'd say that's probably one of the best feelings out there.
Tell me about that, because you played for the Twins and the Orioles in your major league career, and we're talking to Lou Ford, the manager of the Long Island Ducks, and you think about great venues that have hosted baseball games over the years, places that were so loud. How unbelievable was it to play in the Metrodome? Because we remember the Twins with Kirby Puckett had that run to a world championship, and it was just, you watch the games on TV, and it just seemed like you couldn't hear anything going on with the crowd in there. What was that like playing for the Twins at home in the Metrodome?
It's a great feeling. It just one of those that gives you goosebumps when you're taking the field. And even though you've done it many times in your life, just the atmosphere there is great, especially in the playoffs. They had those hankies everywhere, and the noise is echoing off the roof up there. It's a great feeling.
Would you say that was the loudest, most energetic place that you ever played?
It's definitely got to be up there.
Yeah, it was definitely, you could feel it on
Yes.
on television. I remember watching when they won the World Series, and Frank Viola from Long Island, from East Meadow, and was pitching for the Twins back then, and you could just feel the excitement over the television and feeling it. But here with the Ducks, Lou, this has been a franchise that I remember when the Ducks started back in 2001, and I was at the first Ducks home game ever in history, and people always wondered, it's non-affiliated minor league baseball. It's just going to be a fad. It's not going to make it. Why are they building the stadium in Central Islip? Who's going to go? You got the Yankees and the Mets are in town, and it has just been an amazing run by this franchise. 4 championships, a string of sellouts, and even now today, there's games during the season where it's impossible to get a ticket, especially on Saturday nights during the summer when you're shooting off fireworks. It has become an institution on Long Island as far as the Ducks are concerned. What does it mean for you to be a part of the franchise, both as a player, now as the manager, and seeing just how important the Ducks are to the Long Island community?
No, the Ducks have done a great job right from the start. And they have a great organization there. It means a lot. I think it brings a lot to the community here, but also the players that are playing here having that opportunity, to get back to that affiliated baseball. And we've had many guys do that, myself included, after playing here. So, it's great for everyone. And, they did a great job putting everything together here.
So the Ducks finished out the regular season at home this week against High Point. Next game is tonight, and you guys, as I mentioned at the top, are right in the middle of the playoff race. Tell me about the feeling of this last week, and what the excitement level is as you guys try to battle for this playoff spot, and how important each game is here the rest of the way.
Each game is very important. We're taking them one at a time. I think we've got great starting pitching lined up, and the guys are playing hard. They're playing hard, making things happen on the field, and it's just it's fun right now. We're having a lot of fun out there, and I think that's, we appreciate the sport this weekend because, we're going for the title this year.
Absolutely. 2019 was the last time the Ducks won, and you were part of that team. Then came the pandemic. You got to the finals again. But it's time to get one for the thumb, Lou. I think Long Island needs that 5th championship. It's been a long time since the Islanders got those 4 in a row, and it's been a long time waiting for that 5th. So we'd like to see maybe the Ducks can get to number 5 before the Islanders do.
That would be great. That's the goal. That's the goal right now. We got a great team. So
Keep up the great work, Lou.
coming down to the wire.
Lou, thank you so much for spending some time. See you at the ballpark this week, and thanks again for the great job that you do with the Ducks.
All right. Thanks, Peter. See you there.
All right, take care. Lou Ford, manager of your Long Island Ducks, as they push for a playoff spot this week in search of the 5th championship in Long Island Ducks history. Still more to come. It's Stump the Whiz Day here on the show. We've got that. We've got the Sports Bash Media poll question coming up. We've got this day in sports history. Lots to do. We're coming back with more, but stay with us on Facebook and YouTube for some special words from Dr. Ippolito, as well as the Embassy Diner. We're coming right back after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Peter Schwartz, Vinny Tickets back on Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I did want to take a moment, because I know I texted you about this yesterday. There's a huge event here on the island tonight. The MTV Video Music Awards are at UBS Arena. And obviously TicketBash.com for if you want to go to see the show. Where are we right now with ticket prices for that event tonight?
I'm just looking at it.
You're
right
looking
now,
at it right
getting-
now. That's why I went to him, because I saw he
Yeah.
was on the phone,
I
and
knew
he's
you
going to
were
be a
going to
busy man.
that.
He's a busy man today. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so absolutely, we do have some choices for the MTV Music Award, the awards. Prices start at $500 each. Realize this is a national event. This is not, this isn't a run-of-the-mill event. So.
Yeah, and that's a big ticket item tonight. We're coming right back with more Sports Bash right now. It's Peter Schwartz, Vinny Tickets back on Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, you see my partner busy at work on his phone. We are opening up the phone line, 631-451-1039. If you were not with us during the break, if you were just listening on radio, we talked about the MTV Video Music Awards coming to UBS Arena tonight, and I had to ask somebody at UBS Arena a question about something yesterday, and she wrote me back very politely saying, going to try to help you with this, but we are so busy right now with the Video Music Awards that it may take us a couple of days to get back to you with that question.
Yeah, it's a big production. It's a really big production. If you watch the news today, the local news, they were talking about how they're all preparing and the security and the traffic flow and so many things they're speaking of.
And if if you've been to Islander games and other shows, you know that the parking is a little challenging at UBS Arena, and now you compound that with Belmont Park being completely demolished now, and they're going to build the new Belmont Park. You got the shopping village going up across the street. So this is my recommendation to everyone, and I've driven with unbelievable VIP parking passes. I've driven with general parking passes. I've also taken the Long Island Railroad to UBS Arena. I am just telling everybody, if you're going to the show tonight, leave the car at the train station, take the train. If you live anywhere, in the Hicksville area, get to the Hicksville train station. It's 13 minutes. It's easy. People that tell you that the train is terrible, they're wrong. Let me tell you, right, if I never have another parking pass for an Islanders game, I will always take the train from Hicksville. It is 13 minutes there, 13 minutes back. They pick you up at the train station with this big coach bus. They take you right to the foot of UBS Arena. It could not be easier, and that's what I would tell people going to the VMAs tonight. Leave your car at home and take the train.
I would say go to ticketbash.com and spend $300 on a parking pass. Kidding. I agree with you, Peter. It makes life a lot easier.
I'll just follow that up by saying I would go to ticketbash.com and buy some tickets to the show.
There you go.
And take the train.
Yes.
And take the train. If you want to buy the parking pass and sit in the traffic, that's fine too.
No, I agree with you.
Vinny will take the money.
Go.
He'll take the money. But I'm just saying that just buy an extra ticket. Take somebody instead of buying the parking pass. Buy an extra ticket and take somebody with you.
There you go.
There you go. It's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. First, let's look back at yesterday's question. Jet fans, how are you feeling after the season opening loss to the Jets? And the winner, not worried. It's one game. 43%, same old Jets, 35%, and a bit concerned, 22%. As I said yesterday, I'm not worried it's one game category. I know you say same old Jets.
Well, just the fact I'm not worried about it, but it's the way they played. It wasn't dynamic. It wasn't exciting. I didn't have I had more.
You didn't have that warm, fuzzy feeling about it.
I didn't. Well, but you know what? We're going to know this week.
Absolutely.
This week has to be a blowout.
We are going to know. Now, let's get to today's question really quick because we want to make sure we have enough time for Stump the Whiz. Today's question, did U.S. Soccer make a good hire yesterday with Mauricio Pochettino as head coach of the U.S. men's national team? You know how much I wanted Greg Berhalter to be fired, and they got him out, and now we have a new coach that's going to take the team into the 2026 World Cup, and the choices are yes or no. Go to the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page to vote. Very quick whiz before Stump the Whiz. Very quick this day in sports history.
Well, in this day in 1985, I know it's a little bit in the past, but it's still very, very important today as the debates are still raging about it. Pete Rose became the MLB's all-time hits leader on this day. I doubt anyone's even going to reach his record, let alone get into the 4,000s. And whether or not people could agree or disagree whether or not he should be in the Hall of Fame because of the gambling situation, I will say this: he's more well known because he's not in than if it was not the case.
Alrighty, good job there. It is time for Stump the Whiz, the moment that we always look forward to on the show. We scoured all the questions that came in. We've got 2 tickets to see the Yankees and the Royals tonight at Yankee Stadium, and the person whose question we selected for Stump the Whiz is Craig Peterson from East Meadow. He has delivered the question that we are going to present to you today. Are you ready?
Okay, let's see.
It's a big game tonight, Yankees and Royals at the stadium. So the Yankees now a half game ahead of the Orioles for first place. So if Craig stumps you, Craig is going to go to see the Yankees and the Royals tonight, courtesy of ticketbash.com.
All right.
Here is the question. And hockey training camp gets underway on Monday. And, of course, the ultimate goal is what?
Winning the Stanley Cup.
The ultimate goal is winning the Stanley Cup. But here is the question that Craig Peterson has presented to you. What is the real name of the Stanley Cup? Sebastiano, you got 2 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes on the clock. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Vinny, are you ready? I'm pointing to you.
Yes.
Are you ready? Here we go. 2 minutes on the clock, and away we go.
Lord Frederick Stanley that's what it's named after. Lord Stanley. Lord Frederick Stanley, who is British also. His wife, I think, was also pretty huge too in terms of growing the game. Lord. There is a full name for it. It's I think it's inscribed on like the cup portion of it a little bit. Something to do with I think it has something to do with the Honorable Lord Stanley. It had nothing. Does it mention his name or no?
I will tell you that there is no mention of Stanley Cup on the Stanley Cup. A minute and 18 seconds to go. The question was, for those just joining us, what is the real name of the Stanley Cup? It's always referred to now as the Stanley Cup, but it had an original name, and that is the original name of it, and that's what we're trying to get WHIZ to answer. 1 minute to go.
McGill. Does it mention McGill University at all? Or no.
McGill University is a school in Canada, but that has nothing to do with the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Maybe the Stanley Cup visited McGill University.
Well, there's a whole story with that. It's
Yeah,
the reason.
I believe McGill University is in Montreal. I
Yes,
think.
they are.
Yes, okay.
That's where hockey was created.
We're down to 38 seconds.
Uh-oh. Come on, Liz, you got this, baby. Let's go.
I'm-
Stay focused.
Hockey is the weakest of the four major sports for me, though. But at the same time, let's see, Lord Stanley. Doesn't mention Lord Stanley. It's probably something a bit more convoluted, I'm assuming, in terms of length, not in terms of the words. Hockey championship or professional hockey.
The word hockey is in the name.
Okay, the new word hockey is the name. Professional hockey championship trophy.
3 seconds to go.
I think they mentioned trophy or hockey.
Congratulations to Craig Peterson of East Meadow. You have stumped the WHIZ, and you are going to see the Yankees take on the Royals tonight at Yankee Stadium with 2 tickets. The correct answer was the Dominion Hockey Challenge Cup, the original and real name of the Stanley Cup. In 1892, the original bowl was donated by Lord Stanley of Preston, the 6th Governor General of Canada. The trophy originally was called the Dominion Challenge Cup. The name Stanley Cup, which does not appear anywhere on the trophy, is a nickname that has become its permanent name. Do you feel a little wiser? Even though you didn't get the answer correct, do you feel now you are a little wiser having not gotten the answer to the question?
Yes, I'm completely fine with that, especially as I know about how Lord Stanley became a fan of hockey in the first place. I mean, he got into it because of James Creighton, who should be in the Hockey Hall of Fame, by the way.
Okay.
But I also feel like, Dominion Challenge Cup. I'll say that to other people and see what they say.
It's now in your memory banks.
Dominion Challenge Cup.
You are off to Tennessee for the next couple of days.
Go Vols.
Who's Tennessee playing this week?
Kent State.
Kent State. And you're going to the game
Anyone
Saturday.
want to guess the line on Saturday?
56?
Close.
45.
Closer. 47.
47 points.
Yeah. Tennessee's number 7 in the country. Go Vols.
There you go.
Let's see.
So just me and WHIZ the next couple of days. Enjoy your trip to Tennessee. Tomorrow on the show, we'll be joined by Wantagh High School Principal Paul Gazzone to talk about the Wantagh Warrior Memorial 5K and Fun Run, which will take place on Sunday, September 22nd. Then on Friday, a really special guest will be joined by the Athletic Senior NFL Insider, Diana Rossini. That's coming up on the show on Friday. That'll do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, where you will never pay a service fee. Don't forget, get your VMA tickets at TicketBash.com, and you can use that code, right? Can't we use the code?
Use the code Drake10.
Drake
Online today, Drake10. DRAKE, the number 10, 10% off your purchase.
There you go. We'll see you tomorrow.